Shalom, Wasalam. You're with the Nasty Pastor, and I'm back with another chapter reading. I'm back with another reading from Stolen Legacy. Author George G. M. James. I'm going to dive in, you know what I mean? I'm going to dive in quick. I just ask of you where you're viewing this at. If you haven't liked, subscribed, commented, or put your notifications on, please do so. Right now we're in chapter 6, and I believe we'll be working on part 10, part 11. I don't forget what part we on. You get what I'm saying? But we're in chapter 6. We're definitely in chapter 6. I say that. You got what I'm saying? And let's go ahead and proceed. Let's get through this. Let's see what type of knowledge we can pick up, what type of understanding we could pick up to be used in the now. You know, that's the purpose of these readings. You know what I mean? Is to get knowledge, figure how this knowledge can help us today. Summary of conclusions. The doctrines of Plato are eclectic and point to Egyptian origin. The doctrine of the real and unreal to represent doctrine found in the comparison between natural phenomena and the ideals is only an instance of the application of the doctrine of opposites. Let's pause for a minute. All right, let's proceed. The doctrine of the real and unreal to represent doctrine found in the comparison between natural phenomena and the ideals is only an instance of the application of the doctrine of opposites. Here the things of this world have their corresponding types in the heavenly realm. Here the ideals correspond to being, while the natural phenomena correspond to not being. But the doctrine of opposites may be traced back not only to Socrates, Democritus, Parmenides, and the Pythagoreans, but further back to its original source, the Egyptian mystery system, where the principle of opposites was represented not only by pairs of male and female gods such as Osiris and Isis, but also by pairs of pillars in front of all the Egyptian temples. Let's get into that part right here. It's part, I would say part 2. The doctrine of the Nous, or world soul, is a principle of Egyptian magic. Plato is credited with expressing this doctrine in the form of a smile, in which he compares the world to a living animal which is composed of souls, one being made perfect and responsible for the life, motion, and knowledge of the animal or universe. I apologize. The doctrine may be traced not only to a Democritus who based his teaching about the fire atoms of the soul and cognition upon the magical principle of the Egyptians that the qualities of an animal are distributed throughout its parts. Through his parts, but also to Anaxagoras, who is said to have advanced the Nous as responsible for creating order out of chaos, and which is omnipotent and omniscient. The doctrine of the Nous, as a matter of fact, originated from the mystery system of Egypt, in connection with which the god Osiris was represented in all Egyptian temples by the simple symbol of an open eye referred to elsewhere. The symbol indicated that only sight that transcended space and time, but also omniscience as the great mind which created and which still directs the universe. This symbol also forms a part of the decoration of all Masonic lodges of the modern world and dates back, apologize, dates back to the Osirian or sun worship of the Egyptians more than 5000 BC. This same notion was also represented by the Egyptians by a god with eyes all over him and was known as the all-seeing eye. Now let's really get into this right here. You got what I'm saying? We know that we have the eye of Ra and the eye of Horus, right? Right? So I wanna really touch down into this and get some understanding to you again. And then now we know, if you haven't read this book and you're not of the Kemite culture and you have not studied anything of the ancient Egyptian mystery system or the culture, period, you wouldn't have never known that the Eye of Osiris existed, right? Right? And I know what I read about the sun worshiping. You get what I'm saying? And I explained that to you about Ra, right? I did explain that to you a long time ago, that the first trick that was told on this rock is that Amun-Ra, which was a man, feel me? Man, yeah, God, but man, you feel me? Explain to the congregation, to the civilization, to the people of the civilization of Africa that sun is to be worshipped. That sun is to be set at a high quality in your life, a high I'm gonna say quality in your life. You got what I'm saying? Now, nothing Amun-Ra is saying is wrong, because you know what I mean. I do love the fact that is a natural way of visibility during the day. It is a natural way of getting of heating up the earth. You got what I'm saying? So I say this to you again. Once again, the Greeks, the Greeks translated this culture to the world. You feel me? Translated this culture to the world. And I just want to say this, it does not say Osiris was praying to the sun, was worshiping the sun. It directly says this symbol also forms a part of the decoration of all Masonic lodges of the modern world and dates back to the Osirian or sun worship of the Egyptians more than 5000 BC. Now, if we do our math, if we really do our math, hold up, let me go back. I saw some in my notifications. Okay. So if we really go back and ask Google, well, let's ask Firefox. Well, it's the same thing, Google. Let's ask this right here. When did Osiris die? I don't even know. Okay. In Egyptian mythology, Osiris died when his brother self-assassinated him. Alright. It's not giving me a time frame. It's not putting a time frame on it. So what I'm going to do is do this a little different. When did Osiris die? No, what year did Osiris die? How about that? What year did Osiris I'm still not getting a year. What time period did Osiris die? Osiris died in the 25th century before Christ dynasty. You feel me? So in numbers, you know what I mean? In where was Osiris? Did Osiris die in destiny? Is Osiris good or bad? Okay. Osiris is one of the most balanced gods in the game. A lot like a genie and Sha'at. His strengths are equal to his weakness, and thus he is a good god. Alright, what else? What else we looking for to get the exact? Okay. In the old kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BC, the pharaoh was considered a son of the sun god Ra. Well, that was something that's something I didn't know. You get me? That's something I really didn't know, that he is the son of the sun god. How to put it? The sun god Ra. So I say this, I'm direct on point about what Ra was doing. You get me? I'm direct on point about that. Now I want to say this to you again. Now they're saying that Osiris was good. You feel me? What good did Amun-Ra play in our culture? Tell me this again. What good has Amun-Ra played in our culture? I haven't read anything. I have not read one thing that Amun-Ra did that was good. You get me? You understand me? So if we both know, and you know and I know, that there is trickery within the social media when you go and you, how to put this, when you go and you look up things, I rest my case. Use your common sense and figure out who our ancestors really was, how our ancestors are being depicted in the now to the youth. Now let's keep scrolling through some things and let's figure out how to put this again. Let's figure out, was this man really praying to the sun, or this just been said? So I'm gonna pause. Let me put a pause. Let me write pause right here, because I want to keep moving on in this book. I don't want to make this where that I said I'll stop. All right, now let's keep going on, because I don't like this. You know what I mean? I really don't. In ancient Egyptian mythology, Osiris was the god of many things, including the afterlife, fertility, agriculture, death, and resurrection. Well, we know who killed Osiris. We know Seth killed Osiris. Let's go. Let's keep moving through this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's my next thing I'm gonna do. Get a book on Osiris and figure that part out for us. So we will conclude. We will continue back into the teachings of Osiris, and I'm not gonna, somewhere I'm gonna make a mental note or a written note to really take this part of Stolen Legacy and figure this out. You feel what I'm saying? Really figure this out. I don't know no one that ever spoke of the Eye of Osiris. I don't know no one that ever spoke of that. Never. It always been these two, the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus. You get what I'm saying? Like right here, we know that Anubis is the god of who? The afterlife, right? But they're telling us Osiris, right? If you go to Reddit, it's saying Osiris or Anubis. Which one was the god of the afterlife? So I rest my case. You feel what I'm saying? Our history is so contradictory. Our history is so, how to put it, a lot of confusion is in our history where then you have to do what? You have to use your common sense. You know why this is not to be taught and this is not to be teach to anyone? You get this now, right? Because you could how to say this, if you're not listening to what you're saying and you're not really focusing on what you're reading, what do you look like? An a-hole, right? Right? Good. Stop walking around trying to teach this and you don't have the degrees or you don't have the skills to listen to yourself and what you are speaking to others. You feel what I'm saying? One thing I can say that I've said to the world that makes a whole lot of sense, this is not Islam. Has we read anywhere, have we even seen any Islam teachings in this culture? No, we have not. We really have not. I've held our Bible. You feel what I'm saying? I've held our Bible. I've held our Bible. It's nothing about Islam in there. And when you think about how the Quran is structured, when you think about how this structured, when you think about how this came out to the world, this came out to the world in Arabic language. It didn't come out to the world in what's the name language. And yes, our Bible is how to put it, is what I had is in English. You feel what I'm saying? But knowing that the Greeks translated our hieroglyphics, cool, fine, dandy. You got what I'm saying? Use your common sense. Point blank period. That's what I did. It's some stuff I stand on and some stuff I don't stand on. Right now, all I'm getting is the pictures and I'm getting images. I'm not getting words anymore. So that's why I said, you know what I mean? It's a lot of our history that's not there. It's a lot of our history that is you're not gonna get. You're not gonna get it at all. This is made, this right here, this culture, the secrets within this culture, the history within this culture has made you to look stupid. It's made for you to look stupid the way it has been presented to the world. You get it? You understand it? So most people do what? What do you think most people have done? Brought what they know up under this, right? You're still wrong to have done that. And like I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the book on Osiris. I think I'm going to get a couple of books on him, and I'm going to make sure that they're by different authors so I can connect dots. You got what I'm saying? So know that in 2025, maybe 2026, I will be coming with a reading of or just Osiris, not Osiris and Isis. And hopefully, maybe mid 2025 or late 2025, fourth quarter 25, I probably will be starting the reading of Osiris. So we're going to get back into figuring out who Osiris really was. We're going to figure out, did this man worship the devil? We're going to figure out what good has Amun-Ra Ray, because there's a book I already got marked that I'm going to get about Amun-Ra. And we're going to figure out the good that this man has done along the way in his history. You got it? So we're going to, like I said, get to know your ancestors. Get to breaking this down so you know who you're praying to. You feel me? And that's why I just pray to Amun, God. I don't pray to Amun-Ra, Sun God. I don't do that one. I don't do that one at all. This doctrine, which, this is part 3, the doctrine of the demiurge in creation. This doctrine, which is ascribed to the authorship of Plato, did not by any means originate from Plato. It was not only a current doctrine at the time of Plato, but was well known among the Eastern ancient nations and taught by them many centuries before his time. History tells us that the Persians taught this doctrine more than 6 centuries BC through their leader Zoroaster. History also tells us that Pythagoras, 500 BC, taught the same doctrine expressed in terms of monads. The universe consisted of 2 unities, the unity from which the series of numbers or beings is derived, being absolute unity, which is the source of all. The monad of monad, oh my, I gotta go that far, good. The monads of monads, or the God of gods, and the one, the first in the series of the derived numbers of beings. It is opposed to unlimited but plurality, and therefore it is relative unity. A created monad or God, a demiurge, consequently the opposition between the one and the many, is the source of all the rest. Furthermore, history likewise tells us that the original source of the doctrine of a demiurge in creation was Egypt, and it dates back to the creation story of Egypt, 4000 BC. Now, let me mark this right here. We said 4000 BC, right? Now, right here it says the Osirian or sun worship of the Egyptians more than 5000 BC, right? Right? So 4000 will be what? Behind the 5000, right? Right? Now let's back this up so I can get to a point that I'm trying to make, something I'm trying to back what I feel to be true. And it dates, consequently, the opposition between the one and the many is the source of all the rest. Furthermore, history likewise tells us that the original source of the doctrine of a demiurge in creation was Egypt. Let's look up the word demiurge. Meaning demiurge. A being responsible for the creation of the universe. In Platonic physiology, the maker or creator of the world. Okay, let's get an understanding that consequently the opposition between the one and the many is the source of all the rest. So what that mean? Come on now. You get it. I know I get that part. You feel what I'm saying? So the creator, come on, that's the source of everyone else, right? That's the source of Allah. That's the source of Amun-Ra, Ra. That's the source of Satan, if you want me to say it that way. That's the source of the devil. That's the source of Allah, Buddha, Yahweh. Look, that's the source of me. You understand me? Do you get what I'm saying? Let's proceed. Which is to be found in the account given by the Memphite theology, an inscription on a stone now kept in the British Museum. It contains the theological and cosmological views of the Egyptians, which date back to the very beginning of Egyptian history, when the first dynasties had made their new capital at Memphis, the city of the god Ptah, about 4000 BC or even earlier. Now I'm gonna pause this for a minute and I'm gonna say it again. You know what I mean? Now, let's just get into some hypotheses. I guess that's the right hypotheses or whatever, some opinions. Let's just say that Osiris did worship the devil. Let's say that. You got what I'm saying? Let's really say that. So along 4000 BC, what did the Creator do? What did the Creator do? Because see, Horus is the one that recognized that there are good and bad in us, right? We've read that. We've read that, I think, in Stolen Legacy, or we read that on Isis and Osiris. We read that Horus was the one that figured out, I have two deities inside, right? Come on now, right? Okay, so that means whom we pray to, our Creator of all, presented, I don't want to say he, you got what I'm saying, presented itself to the world of 4000 BC, right? Right? Good. I'm getting ready to finish this up in a minute. The Egyptian cosmology must be presented in three parts, each part being supplementary to the other and presenting a complete philosophy by their combination. Part 1 deals with the gods of chaos. Part 2 deals with the gods of order and arrangement in creation. And Part 3 deals with the primate of the gods through whose logos creation was accomplished. In Part 1, pre-creation or chaos is represented by Ptah, the primate of the gods emerging from the primeval waters. None in the form of the hill, Tatjinin, the rising land, Atum, the sun god. You get it? You get how many names the devil have. We have read about if you really paid attention to these readings of Stolen Legacy, we talked about Atum, right? We figured out who that was, right? We figured that name, right? Cool. The sun god, immediately joining Ptah by emerging also from the chaotic waters, Nun, and sitting upon him the hill. Yeah, we're going to do this last paragraph, and that's that. A description of the other qualities within the chaos follows. There are 4 pairs of male and female gods in the form of frogs and serpents. Their names are Nun and Nunat, the primeval ocean and the primeval matter. Her and Harhat, the illimitable and the boundless. Kuf and Karkat, darkness and obscurity, and Amun and Amunet, the hidden and concealed ones. Yeah, that'll be the end of that. I say this, you know what I mean? This been a little wake up right here, you know what I mean? Because see, like I said, there are things I know about Osiris and Isis that's just not being, I never heard this part before right here. But I put a pause right here on this paragraph, because like I said, I want to touch back on this when I get my books of, or just Osiris. When it's just talking about Osiris, so that we can really, you know what I mean? We can really break this down, and we could stop being divided, and we could know who we're praying to, and we could know who our brothers and sisters are praying to. Because see, when you build your congregation, know who is in your pew. Know who is looking at you while you're speaking. You understand what I'm saying? There are sometimes people in your pew. There are sometimes people in your congregation that's against everything you're about. They're only there to take. They're only there to destroy. They're only there to have you speak, have you pull a congregation in, and in their moment, they will pull that congregation away from you into their place of worship. You feel what I'm saying? So look, once again, as I said, this has gotten good. This has gotten very good. You see how it was a pot of oil, ice of Osiris. I said that's the meat, that's the fruit, that's the dinner, that's the entree. Okay, we get ready to get into the entree of Stolen Legacy. They have touched something, they have put something in this version of Stolen Legacy that's not contradictive, but controversial. You feel what I'm saying? Controversial. So Peep this out. You've been with the nasty pastor. This has been very enlightening. This chapter reading has been very enlightening. So I say this to you again, you know what I mean? Use your common sense. I'm out and I love you.